What's on YouTube? It's PTT back at it with another Division video, and today guys I want to cover a topic that has been going around a little while now, and I didn't want to do a video too soon on it because I wanted things to kind of sink through my own head, have a little think about things and piece my own kind of video together rather than just everybody else's. So, year 2 content. Okay, we're not going to go mad in this video because obviously we still have Last Stand DLC coming out later on next year, hopefully not too far into next year, but after that, you know, we're looking into year 2 of the Division. Do I think it's going to happen? Yes, definitely we are going to get year 2 content, and there's a couple of reasons why I think it's 100% we are going to get it, and I want to rattle those off first, and then I'm going to go into what I think we might get for year 2 and some of the things I would definitely like to see. So as always guys, if you like the video, make sure to smash that thumbs up button. Let me know in the comments you've got in the section down below, because this is one of them things that's going to be going on for a very long time. There's some really good discussions about it, alright, because I think the devs are definitely going to be interested in everybody's opinion, you know, going forward, tweaking things. That's where we got to in 1.4, that's where we're going in 1.6, and I think it will be used again in the future. And that obviously leads me on to the first point. Why do I think there's going to be year 2 content for the Division? Well, they're having a second ETF, okay? Now, why would they keep putting in the effort to fix the game if there is no year 2 plan, okay? Obviously, flying people from around the world over to Sweden, and for ETF2 over to Red Storm in America, that's a hell of a lot of money to be flying people around the world, putting them up in, you know, hotels or wherever they're staying. Why would you do that if, you know, you weren't going to carry on producing content for your game after, you know, the first couple of months of next year? So for me, that is kind of a big tick into the box of why we are definitely going to be getting year 2 content. Next, if we cast our mind back to the early 1.1 days, you're going to remember areas like the aircraft carrier. Okay, I actually posted a video on this when it first came out. So if you don't know, back in 1.1 you were able to glitch outside the map and you were able to head quite far north, quite far south, quite far east and west, and you could actually get to areas that were fully rendered in-game, outside of the current playable area. They had computers and things like that that you could interact with. The aircraft carrier, for instance, had ropes that you could drop, you know, the ropes that we're used to seeing in bags that you throw down and then rappel down. You could see them on the ship, and it was fully rendered. Like I said, there was computers that you could activate and interact with and things like that. You know, these things were there for a reason. Now, yes, it's still obviously viable that those will be implemented in Last Stand. I think they're more key stonework for year 2 content, something else they're working on further down the line. You know, I think they're going to have had a plan for year 1, year 2 going forward. You know, it's not something they're going to want to be trying to throw together too quickly. I definitely think that year 2 content has already been talked about and it's already in the work now. They wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't leave it till the end of year 1 to make that decision. So yeah, we've got that one. Next, obviously the Division, as we all know, was a new IP. It was years worth of development went into this game. You know, so much was added and taken out. I think I actually remember reading somewhere that the Division was like the top game for showing that it was going to have this, and then on the next trailer or the next, you know, release video that it showed, it had cut things out. You know, so it had implemented more and cut more things out than any other game ever. I can't remember where the source for that was, but I do definitely remember reading that somewhere last year around the time of E3. But yeah, you know, obviously lots of work went into the Division. We all know that. Why would they only support it for 12 months? Next, there's obviously still so much story to be sold. For those of you who follow the likes of Bombshell Jackets and Dave, and you keep up with the whole lore of the game and other podcasts out there, any of you that have read the Division book that came, New York Collapse, very good book, but there are so many questions personally that I have. I know obviously there's a lot of questions the community have, hence the whole Lure podcast and things like that. I think they can definitely expand on that, and there's a lot more story to be told going forward, you know, in several different aspects. Next, they've hinted obviously at survival being something they feel that they can add to in the future. They've spoken about it on stream, Hamish specifically. Both Hamish and Yannick have said on State of the Game it is something they can see themselves supporting in the future. And again, that kind of just leads me to believe that we will be definitely getting year 2 content. Next, the UE player numbers are currently at their highest. So you look back to the Division's launch, the Division was doing very, very well. It was an amazing game. It had tons and tons of people playing it. It was like stupidly high numbers on Steam, on PlayStation, on Xbox and things like that. And obviously the numbers dwindled down, but they're actually currently sitting on more active players than what there were when it first came out. That many people have come back to the game and then invested in the game, seeing where it was and where it's gone, and that the dev team actually give a crap. It would be a big waste for them to then go in the other direction and say, we're not going to be covering it anymore. And obviously, finally, the game has so much potential. That's something we've all said for a while. Whether you're looking at it from a PvE point of view or a PvP point of view, there's so much that this game can be and will be if it is allowed to grow and carry on going in the direction that it's going in. So that's why I think, or some of the reasons why I think it's, definitely guaranteed that we will be getting year 2 content. Next, what do I think that it might be? Like, what do I think the year 2 content's going to be? Well, first of all, we'll cover it, survival editions, okay? How this will be implemented, who knows? Maybe it'll be in the form of heroic mode, or maybe it'll be, challenge mode, where you can only get up to like superior gear, or they take away skills, this, that, whatever, I definitely think there's going to be additions to survival that change the way it is played, the way it is done, and overall I think that will be amazing. Next, I do believe we're going to carry on getting free updates, and they will of course come with new incursions. The state of incursions has, whether you like them or not, got better. Okay, you look at Falcon Lost, it was terrible. One room, waves and waves, more of a horde mode than an incursion. Then when we look at Clear Sky, they started adding in a few more mechanics. It got a little bit better, but it still wasn't great. In fact, it was kind of terrible. Then we move on to Dragon's Nest. Dragon's Nest is the first real incursion where we saw team play come into effect, where you had to have team members to finish it. Okay, that's not to say you couldn't solo up to the last bit, but you just couldn't do it without team members in the final boss room. So that started implementing team mechanics, and I think that is definitely something the community have wanted for a long time. That is, I know what a certain chunk of the community want. Okay, I'm talking to you Destiny players that play the Division. We definitely want raids and things like that. Dragon's Nest was a step in the right direction. I'm not going to say it's by any means near. I still think it's below par for a Destiny Strike. But, it has potential. They've grown, they're learning. Let's see where it's going in the future. Next, I believe we're going to get a map extension. Okay, that includes the open world and the dark zone. The reason I think that is, obviously, like I said before, there is a lot of pre-rendered areas outside that have been explored before. We've already seen them. Whether they come with Last Stand or whether they are, future content, who knows. But we do know there is fully rendered stuff outside of the current playable area. And I think obviously the Dark Zone is going to get an increase because we'll have new storylines, and I do believe that 1.6 will increase server size, and for that then they're going to want to open up the map even more. And to be honest, if they're going into year 2, how long can we spend running up and down the same streets without a map extension? And of course, if we get a map extension, that will obviously mean things like new safe rooms and new named bosses and new farming routes and all that kind of jazz. So overall, very, very good if we do get that. Next, I think they'll add to HVTs to obviously make sure they cater for the PvE player base. I believe we will definitely 100% get new named gear. Obviously, we know we'll get new gear sets. Okay, new gear sets come in all the time, so do new weapons pretty much with every update, so I'm sure that will carry on. The new named gear I don't see coming out with every update, and personally I would be very disappointed if it did. Okay, I would love to see that it is a rare thing that only comes around once in a blue moon because of the drop rate. Now, obviously, if they increase the drop rate, then they can add more in more often because it would change things. That is a whole other video that I'm working on right now, guys. Expect that up in the new year, but yeah, let's move on. New appearance items. I love my appearance items, okay? As you guys know, I'm currently leveling up on PlayStation and gearing up, and God, it feels so good to get them teal drops that, you know, the amount of times, again, this week, I've gone running across a mission and died just to make sure I pick up that appearance item and see if it's that one jacket that I really want that you guys see me rocking out all the time. It's just such a good feeling to get them, and again, as I've said before, it's a bit like Pokemon, you want to catch them all, so yeah, I think they'll have brought them in. Next, new story. Now, obviously there are so many different ways they could do this. They could have flashbacks to the first wave. We could have a story continuation of Last Stand. Obviously, we don't know what Last Stand is going to be, but I would assume there will be some form of storyline there, a little bit like Survival has and The Underground. So, yeah. And, you know, I don't know how it's going to go. Maybe it'll tie into a map extension if we get it. I'm not entirely sure, but I definitely will say if we're getting Year 2 content, there will be a continuation to the story. So, what am I hoping for? Well, I am hoping that we get more base of operation upgrades, okay? Really, really cool. But when was the last time we really touched our base? You know, we hit level 30 and the base of operations has kind of come a little bit outdated now. While yes, there are still things we go in for. You might go in for your fabric and your tools and your weapon parts and things like that still. You know, the feel of everything we did to kind of rejuvenate the base of operations just feels wasted to me. I think there is so much potential in the base of operations, and obviously they could tie base of operation upgrades into new story and the map extension and things like that. They could give us new encounters like we first did when we were leveling up. We could have new side missions. Obviously, if we're getting a map extension, like I said, that means new safe houses, new open world bosses, and basically adds, you know, the map size we have now up again and extend it. And obviously, if they're going to do that, then I would assume we would, of course, get a level increase from level 30. Now, again, how they would implement that, because now we have the field proficiency cache system, well, maybe, you know, they will set us, if it comes out Year 2 DLC, maybe then, you know, it restarts and it puts we start at level 30 and we have to say, I don't know, go from level 30 to maybe 40 if that's the level cap. And then again, when you hit that level cap, the field proficiency caches, they kick back in again, as we currently do now, because it's a really good system. But yeah, that's just some of my ideas, guys, for what I think we might get out of Year 2 and why I definitely think we will get Year 2 content. Like I've said in several videos, you guys have been super active recently, so hit me up in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think, okay? I'm sure that you guys have got tons of ideas to what we will get in Year 2 content and why you think we're going to have Year 2 content. And I know I haven't mentioned it, I have seen the leaks, so I watched the videos, okay, I know about the developers, that CV was leaked and things like that, and said he worked on Year 2 content, and I try to stay away from all of that information as much as I can, guys, rather than saying he said this and she said that, because, you know, it's just Chinese whispers and it's not concrete evidence, okay? Nothing is concrete evidence. What I have told you today is solid proof, okay? That's what I try to base it on. More ETFs. You know, the fact that they brought out 1.4, they're putting off DLCs and things like that. All of that leads to Year 2 content. You know, you just wouldn't go through that much hassle if you weren't wanting to carry on your game and look forward to the future. But yeah, there we go, guys. My opinions and thoughts on Year 2 content. Let me know your thoughts in the section down below. Again, if you like the video, guys, smash that thumbs up button. Okay, it's like super helpful to me now that YouTube have changed the way that YouTube actually works. It's not as much about my tagging of videos. It's more about you guys being active. So, thumbs up, comments. If you're new to the video, don't forget to subscribe. Plenty more Division videos on the channel coming your way. And as always, agents, thank you very much for watching. Until the next video, I'll catch you all soon.